In the early 1940s, American political theorist James Burnham published his book, The Managerial Revolution. In it, he argued that a new ruling class was emerging, one that was neither capitalist, fascist, nor Marxist. This class he called the managers, and they would come to dominate modern society as administrators, planners, experts, and technicians. They were those who did not control property, but organizational power. A civilization becomes controlled not by a monarchy, aristocracy, or representational oligarchy, but by the sprawling technocratic and global bureaucracy such as universities, the military, and corporations. Decades later, the ideas brought forward in Burnham's book have resurfaced in the lexicon of online thought. The growing discourse online, mostly popularized by books like Bronze Age Mindset, argue that modern society is ruled by a managerial elite that suppresses excellence, aristocracy, vitality, and the romantic dimensions of human existence found in ancient aristocratic societies. In this video, I seek to explore the relationship between Burnham's theory of the managerial class and the life-affirming values so many feel are missing from today's society. By the time Burnham was writing in the 1940s, Western civilization had undergone massive transformations in logistics. Technological advancements brought about global industrial empires never seen before in history. Modern society had become far too complex for a monarchical figure to rule. Likewise, the logistical demands of production and distribution, along with the ever-growing web of governmental oversight, made direct democratic rule an illusion of the past. Likewise, ideological revolutions in political philosophy depowered or altogether eliminated any aristocratic elements still left in the government. Modern society, therefore, requires the rule of technically trained experts, accredited administrators, and individuals whose authority derives from organizational competency. Burnham calls this class managers. It should be elaborated that those in the managerial class are not the workers or scientists who, through training and the acquisition of technical skills, bring about the processes in modern life, like building and designing a plane like an engineer, nor is their primary role in writing and the preservation of thought, such as that of a philosopher, author, lawyer, or historical custodian. Rather, they are the type who function by managing the bureaucracy behind such processes. To quote Burnham, "It is this third type of function, which in the fullest and clearest meaning I call managing, and those who carry out this type of function are they whom I call the managers. Many different names are given to them. We may often recognize them as production managers, operating executives, superintendents, administrative engineers, supervisory technicians, or in government as administrators, commissioners, bureau heads, and so on. I mean by managers, in short, those who are already, for the most part, in contemporary society are actually managing, on its technical side, the actual process of production, no matter what the legal and financial form." Burnham believes that the managerial elite would inevitably seize control of the modern state. Their rule, he argued, would be characterized by bureaucratic centralization, technocratic legitimacy, planning, risk control, and a deep preference for stability. In a large state, even the smallest tasks require a complex oversight. It might be helpful to think of an analogy. Let us take the example of a store owner. The owner of a small grocery store has a holistic understanding of his market. Likewise, it only takes a few employees to run and operate. Compare a small business with a few hundred customers to a corporation like Amazon. It is logistically impossible for a corporation like Amazon with millions of clients and a global supply chain to be understood by any single person. The scale itself mandates layers of analysts, specialists, and managers. In other words, large-scale societies require large-scale management. Crucially, Burnham did not see this as a moral revolution, but as a structural inevitability. Modernity requires management, and those who manage become the rulers. Beyond the structural demands of technology and its scale, there also exists a moral paradigm in the managerial class that carries its own ideological tendencies that reinforce and justify its dominance. At the heart of managerial ideology is a profound preference for stability. Everything is reinterpreted through the lens of risk, safety, and organizational necessity. The managerial system selects for individuals whose psychological makeup fits the needs of bureaucracy, conformity, predictability, emotional restraint, and if I may be a bit vulgar, a disposition towards brown-nosing. Over time, this preference morphs into a moral doctrine. Likewise, new managers are only going to be hired by former managers. So former managers will only bring about new managers who ideologically agree with such moral doctrine. The managerial elite promote a vision of humanity that is cautious, conflict-averse, bureaucratically minded, and deeply uncomfortable with anything that cannot be measured, regulated, or administratively controlled. Excellence becomes suspicious. Beauty becomes threatening. Physical vigor and heroic ambition are pathologized as dangerous or destabilizing. Modern culture therefore rewards only the restless striver and the managerial type. It moralizes and domesticates human aspiration to better integrate individuals into its administrative machinery. This, however, is not a sentimental reaction against modernity, nor is it a conservative lament, nor is it a condemnation of technological progress or the existence of management itself. Rather, the concern lies in the type of human being elevated by managerial society. This critique, in essence, is anthropological. What kind of human being does this system create, reward, and reproduce? And what happens to nobler impulses in human nature that once defined entire civilizations? It is for this reason many find the managerial system to be life-denying. Excellence is overlooked for agreeableness, and stability is favored over risk. Under a managerial elite, everything feels controlled, owned, and sanitized. There is no room for the heroic, the adventurous, the daring, the passionate, or the romantic. The managerial mindset seeks to domesticate or break down these instincts inside of man so he can better be accommodated for the bureaucracy. It seems as if mankind has done pretty well to adjusting to this new managerial mindset. Mind a few statistics such as depression, anxiety, or suicide. Yet, there still exists in some types a desire for something more. This begs the question of where could one look to find a purer, more nobler expression of human life? One could not find a better counter to the modern managerial mindset than that of the Homeric ideal. We must therefore turn our attention to the Greeks. The world of Homer cares only for the pursuit of excellence. The managerial state, by contrast, seeks not the excellence of mankind or the ideals of the best, but its bureaucratization, feeding the moral grievances of serfs and the safe. The Homeric imagination is the imagination of a free, conquering, boundless people oriented towards glory. Life is not about stability, but about excellence, beauty, and the sacredness and limitations of the natural world. Human worth is measured not by compliance or managerial competence or achievements, but by one's capacity to act decisively, to dare greatly, to confront fate with courage. Achilles is the antipodal opposite of the managerial psychology. To Achilles, a long, risk-free life is worth less than a short one crowned with glory. This is why Achilles chose a short life with eternal glory over a long life without it. Unlike many of the strange creeds of the modern managerial state, Achilles' values are openly agnostic. Achilles and the Greeks believe that life derives meaning through struggle, conflict, triumph, and the possibility of a noble death. This is because what Homer admired above all was the individual whose excellence burned brightly, who refused to live life as a small, safe, domesticated creature. Like when Athena crowns a halo of fire on Achilles' head, his vital radiance is overabundant. The heroes of the Iliad and the Odyssey do not seek to dissolve themselves into an organization. They seek recognition, glory, honor, and a heightened experience of being. Even Odysseus acts not as a bureaucrat, but as a man of wits, one who is daring and resourceful. Odysseus navigates the chaotic world of the dark Mediterranean Sea through personal excellence, not institutional orthodoxy. The Greeks remind us that there is another model of humanity, one in which individuals do not shrink themselves to fit within an institution, but enlarge themselves to meet the demands of an expansive, dangerous world. The managerial society, by contrast, seeks not the deification of mankind, but its bureaucratization. To turn to the Greeks, then, is not an exercise in nostalgia. It is a philosophical act, a way of reclaiming a forgotten anthropology of greatness. It is a way of reintroducing into our discourse a better, sharper definition of the human being, one that stands in opposition to the managerial type. The counter to the managerial type is in the affirmation of the Homeric and free individual, a type that requires no elaboration other than the will to be the best. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and share. It really helps out the channel. Thank you.